Hey YouTube, in this video we're going to talk about glue. So before we get into the techniques, I just want to go over some of the options out there for gluing two pieces of foam together. First we have ELMER'S Glue All, which is what I'm going to use in this video, and this is really, you can't go wrong with this one. Don't go for sometimes you see it says school glue. You want the Glue All, it's the better, stronger kind. The school glue is a little too watery. But this stuff, you can't go wrong with this, and it's cheap enough to buy. You can buy big tubs off Amazon. This is what I'm going to be using. There's no reason you can't use this. You could also use tacky glue. I use this a lot for gluing smaller pieces, but you can also use this for gluing big sheets. It's just more expensive than ELMER'S glue, so you don't really need to waste it on big sheets, but it's there if you need it. You could also use wood glue, which I don't have on hand, so I'll just put a picture up on the screen. But wood glue is basically just the same as tacky glue or ELMER'S glue. Maybe a little stronger formula, but it's just as fine. So if you have it on hand, then feel free to use that. You can also use this Foam Fusion glue from HWFF Foam Factory. I've used this a lot. It works pretty well. I don't know if it works any better or worse than ELMER'S glue, but it's specifically formulated to stick two sheets of foam together, so it's worth checking out and testing it and seeing if you like it. You could use hot glue, but I wouldn't recommend this unless you're gluing two small pieces together. If you try to glue two big sheets of foam together with hot glue, the glue might dry before you have it. It might cool down and dry before you have a time to squish the two sheets together. And also, if it's a really hot glue gun, then you run the risk of melting your foam, and you don't want to do that. So I just avoid hot glue for foam in general. So I haven't had great luck with spray adhesive. Apparently there are some specifically formulated for gluing two sheets of foam together. I have not used them, so I can't vouch for them. But I've had bad luck with this stuff melting foam in the past, so I just basically stay away from it. And last but not least, we have super glue, which you just don't want to use on foam. This reacts with the foam in a way that melts it, and if you try to use this to glue two pieces of foam together, you're just going to end up with a gooey, sticky mess full of holes, and it's going to ruin your piece, and you're going to be upset. So just stay away from super glue for gluing foam together. So like I said before, we're just going to use ELMER'S white glue for this to glue the pieces together. You're also going to want to find a metal brush, a wire brush, or you can even use a knife, and a Sharpie. First thing that I like to do is to just figure out the placement of each piece, and once I figure out where I want them to go, I take a Sharpie and trace along the edge, just to make sure that when I do glue them together, I get everything lined up where it's supposed to be. And for this piece, using an extra support just because the pieces are kind of awkward. I'm just going to glue that in there. Now I'm just placing the top stair on, and I will trace this and then start to glue the pieces together. Alright, so this is where the wire brush comes in. I like to use the wire brush. Like I said, you can use a knife too to slice it, but this roughs up the smooth surface of the foam and gives the glue something more to adhere to. Otherwise you're just kind of gluing two perfectly smooth surfaces together. This way the glue can seep into all these little crevices and really give it some strength when it grips together. And now we're going to take the white glue and just squeeze it on all over the places, the areas that you've traced. Some people like to spread the glue out with a spatula or paintbrush or something, but I always just kind of squirt it on, make sure I get pretty good coverage, and it does me well. So now I'm lining it up where I drew my outline before, and that's why you use the Sharpie and trace the piece, so you can make sure that everything lines up where it needs to go. And now I'm using the wire brush to do the same technique to scrape up this piece and the bottom of this piece and glue these two guys together. And there you have it. Last thing I like to do is weigh the pieces down. And the way that I usually do this is put down a piece of cardboard and a paint can. I use a cardboard so I don't get an indentation of the circle on the foam. And just, you can use anything that's heavy. You can use books, weights, whatever, just to make sure that everything stays down nicely while it dries. Well, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, then please give me a like. If you want to see more videos like that in the future, then just hit the subscribe button down there. If you have any questions or comments or requests for future videos, then let me know down below. And until next time, we'll see you later.